Perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you join. Welcome to day 4 of Copilot Studio training program. Today, we are going to go one more level up from where we left last week. So last week, we started our journey with uh, Copilot Studio. We learned about how the Copilot Studio is looking like. We started our first agent of Care Connect through last episode. So we talked about what is topic, how you can add a question into Copilot Studio, as well as how you can add the condition, how you can do the adaptive card, right? All of those things we have done in the previous episode. Now, in this class, specifically, we will focus on the knowledge sources. Now, first, let's try to understand what is knowledge source. Okay, so first of all, we will start our journey with the overview of the knowledge source. We'll talk about what different kind of knowledge sources you can configure in the world of Copilot Studio. Also, we will take one another use case in today's episode where we will talk about one text agent that we are going to build up for the specific need. So we'll talk about that, and we will cover up two different kind of knowledge sources in today's class, specifically like external website and file. These are the two data sources we are going to talk about in today's class. Later on, there are much more things as well you can do on top of that, which we will talk about into part 2 of the Copilot Studio knowledge classes. All right, so this is the overall agenda for today. So first of all, let me just open up the agent that we have started in the previous episode. So this is Care Connect agent that we have started last Friday. Okay, and actually we finished that entire Care Connect agent development. All right. Now, first of all, let's try to understand what do we mean by knowledge in the world of Copilot Studio, right? So whenever you look at any Copilot agent in the world of Copilot Studio, they are having a dedicated section over here called knowledge. Now, what do we mean by knowledge, right? First, let's try to understand with the real uh, world example. What do we mean by knowledge? Whenever we are working with any real-time scenarios, right? Let's say for an example, as a human, sometimes you are just going for a passport, or sometimes you are going for a visa application, right? You are hiring some sort of agent, right? Now that particular agent has a knowledge of that subject matter expertise. They are expert into that, right? So basically they are having knowledge into that particular area. So similar concept is here in the world of Copilot Studio as well. So let's say for an example, here this is my agent which I have built over here, right? So what kind of knowledge that Copilot agent should has, that's something you can configure into your knowledge source. Okay, now knowledge is something like similar way like in the real world, well newborn when the child is born in the world, right? Parents are teaching them different languages, parents are teaching them different subject. They go to the school, they go to the high school, they go to the college, right? I mean, at every phase of the life, they are upgrading themselves. They are keeping themselves up to date with the real world knowledge, right? So same concept is here in the world of Copilot Studio. So what is knowledge? So knowledge is nothing but it is the content which is used to train your AI agent. Okay. Now, what type of knowledge are available? What kind of knowledge you can fit into your Copilot agent? Now let's have a quick look around that. Okay. So when you go to the knowledge section, here there is a dedicated option to add a knowledge. Okay. Now when you click on the knowledge source over here, there are a couple of options available over here. Okay. Let's just look out the popular option that we usually use to train our Copilot agent. Number one is public facing website. You can provide any public facing URL over there. And what happen here is when you ask any question, it will answer from that public facing website. It will also give you the citation as well that, okay, from where it pick up that particular answer for you. Okay, so this is what you can configure as a first knowledge source. Apart from that, it also offer to connect your SharePoint as a knowledge source. So let's say for an example, in the SharePoint, you will be having some sort of document library where you have the different set of document. And if you are pointing your SharePoint library as a knowledge source, what happen here is whenever you make any queries behind the scene, it uses that SharePoint knowledge in order to answer that question that user has asked over there. Okay, so SharePoint is available. Apart from that, Azure AI Search, Dataverse, Dynamics 365, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Azure SQL, these all are the knowledge sources which are available at this point. Okay, every knowledge source has different kind of advantages and disadvantages as well over here. Okay, in this particular two class series, we are going to cover up mostly all the popular knowledge sources. We will do with the public website, we will do with the SharePoint, we will do with the file, we will do with Azure SQL. So in future classes as well, we are going to use any one of different knowledge sources every time. So you will be having most of all the flavors available for you. Okay, apart from that, if you go to the advanced option, there are some more connectors as well available, like Snowflakes or Confluence or Oracle database or SAP or Zendesk or Azure Databricks. Any one of these, if you want to connect, you can connect it out over here. Okay, apart from that, when you click on show unavailable option, you can see these are all something which is under development at this point. They just provided as a unavailable at this point, but Microsoft is constantly working on the other connector as well. So probably in the future, the other connectors will also be available inside the world of Copilot Studio. Okay, but this is at the very high level that, okay, at this point with Copilot Studio, what is possible? Okay, now let's say for an example, sometimes we have a need that, okay, I have some physical files stored on my computer and I want to use those physical files to train my model. So at the time, it also provides you the option over here to upload the file from your local machine, or if you have file from your OneDrive, or if you have file from your SharePoint, if you want to provide those files from that knowledge source, it is supporting that as well. Okay, so different options are there. All right, now we need to decide that what kind of capability we need to leverage it for our source. All right, so in short, if I explain now the theoretical definition of what is knowledge source, right? So basically, let me just open up some of the documentation around that. So knowledge source in the Copilot Studio allows agent to use the enterprise data from the various platform like Power Platform, Dynamics 365 website, or external system over here. And this enables the agents to provide and find the present information to the multiple sources without creating specific topic. If you ask any question, you don't need to create any topic for that. Okay, it's just something that, okay, if you are asking any kind of question to your agent, basically it will look at your knowledge source and it will try to find out the answer from it. Okay, let's say for an example, if you are having the income tax website for Indian government, or maybe income tax website for Australian government or US government, right? Let's say for an example, if you have created any chatbot or agent for the taxation, right? When you are asking the question over here, you just don't need to feed your entire, you don't need to create any topic that, okay, if people is asking the question related GST, go to this portal and find it out. What happen here is it is done automatically or handled automatically over here, because whenever you configure the knowledge source, by default it will go to your knowledge source and try to find out the answer from that. Okay, again, apart from that, there are so many other different options as well are there, which I'm going to talk about in a while. Okay, so let's wait for the other things. All right, now let's see one practical demonstration around the knowledge source, so you will get a better understanding that what do we mean by that. Okay, now, whenever you find this thing, whenever you click on learn more option over here, basically over here as well, you will be able to get some sort of idea on your knowledge source as well over here. All right. Now, there are a couple of other advanced setting as well available when you are configuring the knowledge sources and all, but we will park those advanced setting at this point because it's not the right time to talk about that, because first of all you need to understand the how the basic knowledge source work in the world of Copilot Studio. Okay, and to prove that, I have one of the case study that I'm going to present it out, that what exactly we are going to build it out. Okay, so first of all, let me just open up one of the case study for this particular stuff. Okay, so this is the case study we implemented for one of the Australian taxation office, ATO, and what they are actually doing is, let me just open up their public facing site first so you will get an idea around that. So this is the official Australian government's taxation office website. Okay, so generally this website is something which is helping the Australian citizens to file their income tax return. So they are having the different thing over here that, okay, for individual and families or business and organization, or let's say for an example super professional and tax person, how they can file their agent, how they can file their yearly return and everything. They are having the different stuff over here. Okay, now over here, I mean, the website is so big, like you are having so many different stuff as well over here. If you just need some more information, you can just go to the links and check the more details around that on the website, right? Now, what they want to implement is they want to create one agent. If any citizen has any question related for any taxation need, basically they can just ask like a natural language that, okay, in which tax slab my income is this much of dollar, which tax slab I am falling under, or maybe how can I file my tax return, or maybe what is the last day of submitting the tax this year. Okay, I just have this kind of basic question, and I can just ask to the agent in a natural language and it should automatically able to answer me that out. Okay, so basically the purpose of this overall chat agent is this Australian taxation office want to enhance the user experience by providing the citizen with a conversational AI chatbot named TaxMate. TaxMate will help users to navigate ATO services, answer tax-related questions, and simplify compliance by leveraging just generative AI capability in the Copilot Studio. Now, over here, they have the different use cases over here. Like, okay, for tax filing assistant and small business tax advisor, where they want to help the individual and business with the tax filing, deduction, and compliance requirement. While on the other hand, they provide the tailored tax advice for startup, including GST registration and BSA reporting. Okay, so this is like a base requirement we have over here at this point. All right. Now, the thing is that they told that, okay, they are having couple of things where it should look at for the answer. They are having, first of all, their public facing website, which I just opened, that www.ato.gov.au. Okay. And apart from that, they are having some sort of PDF files as well. Okay, so I'm just going to provide you this PDF file samples as well to you. So they are having some of the taxation related documentation, which they are having stored into some sort of PDF files over here. Again, this PDF file is a lengthy PDF file. It's not like a very small PDF file. Okay, so they are having the different samples of the PDF, which has the this kind of documentation graphs as well over here. Okay, and one more PDF file as well over here they are having here. Okay, now the thing is that they want to create a Copilot agent based on the public facing site as well as this documentation. All right, so how we can get started with this type of agent training process? We are going to look at that journey over here. All right, so first use case is all about we are going to train with the public facing website, and in the second case study we are just going to enhance the same case study with different kind of files that they have provided. What they have provided in the file we are going during that particular time. Okay, but this is what the use case looks like. Okay, so now how to start with the overall process of creating this agent? Let's talk about that in detail over there. Okay, so first of all, let me do one thing. Over here, I'm in my Copilot Studio, and this is my second case study. So what I'm doing here is I'm simply going to my solution, and let me create another solution for class 3 demonstration, day 4 demonstration. Okay, so I'm just going to my Copilot Studio's solution part. Let me just close all the unnecessary things that I have on my screen, and let me just make sure that I'm in the right environment, and let me create the solution first. And to create the solution, first of all, I'm just going here, click on new solution, and let me just provide that Copilot Studio Day04. And in that, I'm just going to provide the same publisher Power Platform trainings and click on create and let the solution to be created first. And as per the best practice, we will always start creating the agent from the solution itself. So let's start that journey. Let the solution to be loaded first. So my solution is loaded. I'm just clicking on new option and clicking on agent over here and just click on agent and this will open up this kind of interface for you. Okay. Now this time I'm going to show you another way of implementing the Copilot agent. Okay. Last time on last Wednesday and Friday's lecture, specifically, we just used skip to configure and we added each and every step by our own. Okay. Now, the thing is that now at least you know how to create your first agent. So at least that part you know. Now, from this part onwards, we are going to use this AI to create our agent because I don't want to type my whole requirement by my own. I just want to utilize the AI capability so that, okay, instruction and, description is something it will write automatically for me. Okay, so I'm going to use that as a reference over here. And this is the first time we are going to create this particular agent with the help of AI. Okay, so we will write our own prompt and let's see how it behaves and how it will look like. Okay, I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks around that as well. And if you recall the Friday's class at the end, I have given you one exercise in the homework. In that exercise as well, I told you that, okay, use this AI to build your Copilot agent and I have provided prompt as well in the homework exercise. If you have performed, probably you have an idea around that, but don't worry, even if you didn't do that, this will answer you that part as well. Okay, so let's start building our Copilot agent using the AI over here. All right. So first of all, what I'm going to do here is you just need to think in a natural language that, okay, what's the purpose of this use case, right? So they want the TextMate agent. So I know the name of my agent will be TextMate, right? And where it is helping us, the text related question, simplify compliance, write this. Okay. So this is the thing you want to do it. Okay. Now, what I want to start writing my prompt as, not always start with the chat GPT and all. Use your own mind as well sometimes to build up your prompt that, okay, what exactly you want to do it for yourself. Okay. So maybe I can think in this way that, okay, I can provide the instruction in this way that, okay, you are TextMate because that is the name we want, right? A friendly text assistant created to help Australian citizen with their text related question. Always respond in the simple, easy to understand language, avoid complicated text terms that is unnecessary, and explain them clearly when it is used. Provide clear step-by-step answer whenever possible, and if needed more help, you can always tell them that please contact the ATO resources or services, right? This is what I have in my mind at this point that, okay, how the text message agent should behave, right? So now whatever we think over there, we just need to provide that as a prompt over here. Okay, there is no such rocket science here to write the prompt. Okay, or there are no such classes where someone will teach you that how to write prompt. This is usually we do as a part of our thought process whenever we are even working in the actual human environment, right? Let's say for an example, sometimes your manager has given you any task, right? How to solve that task, basically that's something you think as a human first, right? So I just let's say for an example, I onboarded with one of the new project, right? My manager explained me the requirement. Now I need to come up with a solution. So first I'll think that, okay, let me analyze the overall solution first, that what's the requirement is, right? Then I'll think about that, okay, I don't want to make the complicated solution. I want to make the solution which is more out of the box. It can be developed fast and it has less custom code or maybe less customization, and it should solve the user problem as well, right? This is my aim. So that aim is something which you try to focus and try to solve. Similar way here as well, what this agent is built for and what's your purpose and what you want your agent to do versus not, that's something provide as a prompt, and that will do the things easier for you over here. All right, so now let me just start typing my prompt over here. All right, so I'm not typing it from scratch. In the hands-on exercise, I already provided the prompt as well. If you just want to use the similar prompt that I'm using, this is completely been provided. So, at your homework site as well, you can just copy paste from here and practice it out. Okay. But try to write out the prompt by your own rather than, just copy pasting. All right. So what I'm doing here is specifically in Copilot Studio, whenever we build this agent or maybe any future agent as well, right? most of the things depending on how based prompt you are writing over here. That's how, right now prompt engineering is very, very important. So, how better you are writing. Maybe you can use other AI as well in order to write up your prompt. So maybe you can do this as well, but I would personally don't recommend this thing from the beginning right now. Maybe I can just type here that, okay, I'm building, I'm just typing over here, okay, I'm building my text Copilot agent to help Australian citizen where they can ask questions related taxation and GST. Okay, help me to write based prompt which I can supply to my Copilot agent. Okay, you can write like this as well. Okay, and now what happen is it will help you to even write out the prompt for you. Okay, so it just created this wonderful description for you. All right, we are living in a world of AI and Copilot, so you can always utilize this thing. Okay, but don't just just copy paste this entire thing and make it happen. Obviously, yeah, sometimes you need to do that, but use your own mind as well. Nowadays I'm saying that, okay, many people are copy pasting from the this chat GPT or maybe DeepSeek or any other Gemini, any other AI model, right? And they just copy paste and do it. Okay, unless out of that many things are even non necessary, like, okay, non legal language, or maybe you can use some your own mind as well, like friendly language and all, like, okay, business activity statement. I think we don't require this type of things over here, right? So the things which are not necessary, maybe try to remove it out, or maybe once you get the basic prompt, try to enhance that prompt as well. Okay, so this is another trick that I'm just going to explain you, that okay, you can use this as well, but use it at a very low level, like use your own mind, because that prompt is very important, because chat GPT prompts are more generic prompt, right? Your business requirement is totally different. So in the world of Copilots today, when you are writing a prompt, multiple times you need to tweak your prompt as well sometimes. That is something you will realize on the later session, because right now we are just creating some basic agent. Up to 4, 5, 6 class, you will still face that. But after that, when we start the autonomous agent, at the time you need to become very specific to your action, that okay, exactly what instruction my agent need to follow. Okay, so let's just provide some sort of prompt over here. So I'm just providing one of the prompt over here. I'm not copying the chat GPT prompt, but this is what I just explained you. Okay, that you are TextMate, a friendly text assistant. I'm not reading this whole prompt again, but I already read it, like what exactly it is. Okay, mainly the thing is that it need to use simple language, do not need to use any complicated word, and if it is unable to answer, then it need to connect to the ATO service or resource. Okay, now hit enter over here. All right, and let's see what will happen over here. You need to observe the right hand side over here. So what it will happen is, as soon as you type the prompt and hit enter, it will try to convert this content into description and instruction automatically for you. You don't need to manually input that out. Okay, so I'm just hit enter over here, and let's see what it will do it for us. Okay, let's wait for a moment and let's see what it can generate with. Okay, and see, here we are. It has created that, okay, a friendly text assistant created to help Australian citizen with their text related question. Instruction: respond in simple, easy to understand language. Avoid using complicated text term until necessary. Provide clear step-by-step answer whenever possible. Guide users to appropriate ATO resources service if more help is needed. Okay, perfectly interpreted and added those 4 bullet points for me. Okay, now uh, it is saying that, okay, great. Let's determine the name of your agent. How about TextMate? Does that work? Yeah, it is work for me. So I'm saying yes. Simple. Okay. It's same like a chat experience, how you are doing with a chat GPT, right? Same type of experience it is providing to you over here. And now, you know, it has provided the name as well. When as soon as you do that, you can see my agent name is changed over here to TextMate over here. All right. And it slightly changed the description as well, because now it say TextMate, right? We provided that name. So, it just added some more additional description as well over here as soon as we provided certain set of name. And it tried to, revamp the description, I mean, instruction as well a little bit over here. Okay, now it is asking more question to you here that, okay, first, let's focus on how TextMate should assist users. Are there any specific guideline or behaviors you would like TextMate to follow when providing the assistance? For example, should TextMate prioritize certain type of text question or offer additional resources for complex queries? Okay, so it just asks some additional question that, okay, apart from this that you have provided over here, is there anything else which you also want to provide as an instruction to your agent? That's something it is asking. Okay. Now, let me tell you one thing, that obviously right now as a human, we have this thing in the mind, right? But also, like sometimes what happen here is when we are building this kind of legal agent, right, we need to follow certain set of rule as well. Okay, sometimes those rules are given by your customer, or sometimes those rules are defined somewhere. Okay, or maybe if you don't know the rules, maybe you can just do the generic search on ChatGPT and see that, okay, what this kind of text agent should do versus not do. Okay, now in this particular case, let me just tell you one thing, that simply my when this requirement is given to me, specifically my customer has provided some more information to me as well, that, okay, what to emphasize and what not to emphasize, which means that how my agent should behave versus not behave. Okay, as a part of requirement, they told us when we were doing the requirement gathering session with them, that they told us that, okay, make sure you use clarity and simplicity in each of your answer. Make sure it is empathized and approachable. It's more relevant to the user's query rather than unnecessary detail. They say that, okay, you should have the actionable guidance with some sort of example, that, okay, not just giving an answer, but give them some example that exactly how they achieve that task, or how they can, how they can solve that problem. Use their friendly tone also already we informed that. Okay, they said that, okay, be transparent. Okay, I mean, and some sort of example as well you should provide. Okay, so they just given us this kind of instruction when, initial requirement come across. So this is what they are expecting this agent to do. Okay, and what they want to avoid, they provided that as well to us, like, okay, any jargons or complicated term which we already provided in the instruction, right? Overloading with the information, or maybe more generic answer, or maybe, legal or financial ambiguity, like, your statement should not conflict with each other. And don't over promise anything, that, okay, you should feel confident, or if you are not feeling confident about the answer, maybe you can just mention that, okay, please connect the human agent or something, right? And again, like, sometimes, people are asking that, okay, give me the refund. Okay, so don't just tell that, okay, your refund will be processed, but be specific that, okay, it will be in the 2 weeks. So, not over promise about the things, right? Otherwise, what happen here is, like, whenever if you have observed this behavior in the chat GPT, sometimes try to chat with chat GPT. Like, okay, sometimes, when you are sad, when you are, this is what I looked at on some internet videos, and even I tried sometimes, how ChatGPT is behaving. They are always giving your prompt in a very positive way. They will try to, make, little bit non-negative about you. Let's say, for an example, what happened is sometimes, do try this out if you want. When you feel sometimes, very low, ask the chat GPT that, okay, chat GPT, I'm feeling low, I did this activity today, right? But, even from those statements, chat GPT will try to boost your mood. So they say that, okay, Dhruvin, that's totally fine. 60% of the people in the world face the similar issue, you are not the only one. That is trying to grieve you. All right, sometimes, this is the behavior of the large language model, that I mean, personally, I have observed that GPT models try to be more positive rather than more negative, right? Now, in this case, what happened here is like, okay, if you do not provide this kind of instruction to your agent, what happened is if someone is making a prompt that, okay, make sure this problem is solved in 24 hours or maybe, 2 hours, right? Just like that. Just imagine that, you know, it just consider that an instruction and over promise the things that okay we'll do that, okay, then the person will feel that okay actually it will happen. So that this type of statements are very important, that okay, do not over promise about the things. So that's how your GPT agent also understand that okay, I don't need to throw any random answer to it. Okay, so that's how you need to treat it, right? This is similar like in children, when we look at the actual human as well, when you look at any child or children, right? It is said in a psychology world that children are usually speak most of the truth thing because they are not been lots of influence their mind by someone. When they are in the age of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? They speak whatever they feel about, right? Same way, this agent as well, like until and unless you do not provide the instruction, it will behave the way they want, right? So that's how these instruction are needed, right? Sometimes it's just like uh, we need to teach our children that okay, when you meet someone unknown, do not take any kind of chocolates from there, or do not just come with them, or maybe just do not sit in front of any random people in the car and just go it, right? We need to provide the instruction. Otherwise, if you don't provide it, children will feel that okay, the person is human, is good, and I just wanted to go with that, right? Same exact thing as well. That's the reason why this power of instruction we need to supply to our agent, right? So this is like they provided this information to us, and here we are also teaching them negative and dismissive tone. This is something which my customer tell that okay, avoid language that could make user feel discouraged or unsupported. So try to become more positive. If you don't know, or I mean, don't say like you should already know this or something like this, okay? Try to become more descriptive, more generic answer. Okay, so this is what when this kind of agent are building, mostly the business users are giving us, or maybe if business users are not giving us, maybe you can do chat gpt, that okay, chat gpt, tell me that I'm building this kind of agent, what type of thing I need to consider in my mind that my agent should behave or react, and it will give you the whole paragraph. Maybe you can copy paste that as well if you want. Okay, now what I'm doing here is, this is my customer thing that they provided, right? Now what I'm doing here is, this instruction they provided me, right? Now what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to copy paste few things from here. Okay. And let me just copy this whole statement. Okay, and let me just provide to my agent as well over here. So maybe it will convert into some sort of description over here, but here it will allow maximum 2000 character length over here. Okay, so maybe I can just remove a couple of things because I have already used this. Okay, like friendly tone and itself I already added that over there. Okay, so let me just remove couple of things from here, and let me just make my text a little bit smaller over there, or maybe you can just provide into multiple part as well if you want. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, what to avoid section, let me just hit enter first. Okay, so I'm just adding this thing out, and let's see how it is behaving now. All right, so let it to be added, and now what it will do, it will try to enhance the description over here. Okay, so it analyze this content. Now you need to read as well as a human, right? That okay, what kind of instruction that has it provided, right? Like, don't redirect user to ATO website until their text meta is unable to answer. Never promise outcome like faster refund or guarantee facility, right? Avoid uncertain advice. Stick to the verified information, right? So again, it modify this. The overall summary, they kept it as is. Okay, now what I'm doing here is, I'm just adding one positive part as well over here, that how it should react into two parts. Okay, so now I'm what to emphasize. Let me copy this content and let me just paste it over here as well, and let it to be revamp the description a little bit again. Okay, so I'm just adding this over here and let it to make the description a little bit more lengthier. Okay, and it just revamp the entire thing for me. Okay, this is making my life much more easier over here. All right, now I'm almost ready that okay, I'm good with all the information. Then just click on create button. You can read that, you can modify later on as well if you want. Okay, but I'm just doing this and clicking on create, and let me create my text agent over here. All right, so let's set it up. It will take few moments in order to set up the whole agent. Okay, usually it will take around 30 seconds to 1 or 2 minutes in order to set up everything. And we know that how we can check that it's created or not. When it created, this edit option will available, as well as this publish option will also available in the background. It is just started this process in order to set up the agent for ourselves. Okay, so this is some base funda, like you can just provide to your agent, and basically it will provide this description and those things automatically for you. Okay, now let me talk about one more important terminology in the world of Copilot Studio, which is orchestration. Okay, now see, it's created successfully. I can see edit icon as well. I can see publish icon as well. And I can see all the instruction are being provided here. If you want to edit, you can just edit your instruction. If you want to edit your, stuff, you can just do that over here. All right. Everything is working fine over here. All right. Now, let me just highlight one very, very important point over here. That is orchestration. Okay. What do we mean by orchestration in the world of Copilot Studio? Okay, whenever you are not creating any kind of, whenever your agent is created for the very first time, by default, it is turned off because sometimes at the environment level itself, this setting is blocked by the user. So it is disabled. Okay, but what Microsoft is claiming, now let's see that. Let's read the official documentation so you will get a better context around that. Okay, orchestration. Orchestrate the agent behavior with generative AI. Okay, there are two type of orchestration capability available. Okay, one is classic orchestration and another is generative AI orchestration. Okay, this is very, very key important part when you are building the agent. Now, what is classic and what is Gen AI? Let me just tell you. Let me just give you simple example over here, so you will able to understand it properly, and then we will go with the textbook definition. Okay, so last agent that we have created. Let me just open that agent as well in parallel. Care Connect agent, right? Now in Care Connect agent, we created two topics over that. That okay, I want to book an appointment. I want to check the status of the booking. Okay, that's what we have done in the previous class. Now the thing is that this particular agent, if you look at this orchestration, it's disabled by default. Okay, which means that it is a classic orchestration. Okay, now how the classic agent will work, let me tell you its behavior. Okay, so whenever you are having this option disabled, at that time what happen here is, whenever you are typing any question over here to your chat agent, basically what happen is it will try to look up the topics. It will try to match the closest natural language understanding. That okay, if you are typing that okay, book an appointment. Okay, whenever you are typing that, okay, basically it will try to match up with the trigger phrases that you have supplied. These are the trigger phrases that we have created in the previous class, right? It try to match it with that. Okay, when it matches to the trigger phrases, after that, based on that, it will execute the next set of question or series of question for you. Okay, this is the behavior of the classic orchestration. Okay, it still uses the AI, but the way it operate your agent is okay, look at the trigger and then try to execute the series in the sequence and try to execute that whole topic and respond to your user. Okay, this is how it behaves. Okay, now, what is generative orchestration? Okay, generative orchestration uses the generative AI to determine how best to respond users and event. Now, this is disabled by default if environment person has blocked it out. Okay, but when it is enabled, what happen here is it will look at your knowledge sources constantly over here. Okay, now what happened here is, like, currently we didn't spoke about the knowledge sources. Okay, so first we will talk about the knowledge sources so you will get a better understanding. But just imagine when this generative AI orchestration is enabled, they even don't worry about the topic, right? What your topic context is. Okay, it will try to use the complete AI capability to identify what would be your topic. Or sometimes, let's say for an example, topic is not there, then it will start generating question as well automatically based on the input that you are providing to it. Okay, so this is the power you are getting with the generative AI orchestration. Now, one more thing is this section that you can see, the instruction section, right? That instruction won't work while generative AI is disabled. Now, what do we mean by that? You provided all this instruction over here, right? Which is more into general language. This is how you generally train to it. Okay. Now, when classic orchestration is specifically enabled, and generative AI orchestration is disabled, it will not follow the complete instruction that you have followed. It will just utilize the generic information that GPT model has. It do not follow your custom instruction that you have provided. Although some of the instruction it will follow, but not like, the current instruction that we have provided to the TextMate is a very uh, generic instruction. Okay, it's not like too much in detail. Here we are not telling it that, okay, you need to send an email, you need to look at this database, you need to follow this database, that complex level of instruction. So, with classic orchestration, you will still feel that, okay, these instructions are executed, but behind the scene at architectural level, it is not getting executed until and unless you do not enable the orchestration from here. So most of the time, around 99.9% of the use cases don't forget to enable this particular orchestration as generative AI orchestration to make the complete AI capability usage inside your agent. Okay, so we must need to enable this orchestration. But now, still in this class, we will use the classic orchestration as well. So you will at least understand with classic what kind of results you are getting. Okay, so when we do the generative AI orchestration, you will get a better understanding around that. Okay. Now, let's go to the actual Microsoft documentation over here and let's see how this orchestrations behaves. Okay, so let's read this content first. Okay, agent can use either the generative or classic orchestration. By default, newly created agents are configured to use generative orchestration. As I said, this is what Microsoft is claiming, that by default, when you create new agent, generative orchestration by default enabled. But again, the condition here is sometimes admins have blocked this feature, so it's not turned on by default. So in my case, when the environment is set up for the first time, this setting is disabled by default, so it's not turned on automatically. Okay, but you need to make it turn on manually over there. But they are claiming that, okay, if that feature is activated, it's turned on by default. Okay, while generative orchestration, an agent can choose the base tool, knowledge, topic, and other agent to answer your queries. Now, what do we mean by this statement? Understand it very carefully. Okay, when the generative orchestration to an agent is enabled, okay, it use the base tool. Now, what are the tools? We explored in the previous session. The tools can be any of your connector, any of your custom connector, any of your prompt, any of your data source, right? That's what we explained. Any of your power automate flow, right? That is considered as a tool, right? Knowledge means that is what something we are going to do in today's class. Okay, topics we talked about in last session. Okay, and other agent, that's something we are going to talk about in upcoming class. Okay, so it automatically choose the base tool, base knowledge, topic, and base agent just on a natural language. Right now what happens is how this agent is work in the classic orchestration. Like, okay, when you type something, it try to look out the topic first. If topic is unable to find that out, it just click on it, it just go to the fallback topic, as which is a system topic again, and from that it use the generative AI capability to answer your agent, right? But when this feature is enabled, they don't care that what's there in the topic. It use all its knowledge sources, everything, to answer based to your user. Okay, the alternate is classic orchestration, where agent can respond to the user by triggering the topic whose trigger phases most closely match the user's query. Okay, this is exactly what I explained, that okay, how classic works versus generative AI orchestration works. Okay, You will get a better understanding when we do one case study around generative AI orchestration from class number 6 onwards, where we'll start the autonomous agent. You will get better idea around that. Okay. But currently, I'm just explaining you the theory so you don't get yourself confused that, okay, sir, you did never talk about what is classic and generative AI orchestration. Okay. Now, this is like Microsoft has guided over here with some sort of documentation that, okay, when generative orchestration is enabled and classic orchestration is there, how topics will behave, how the child agent will behave, how tools will behave, how knowledge will behave, how use of multiple topics, tools, and knowledge sources can be happen, how works when asking users for any kind of input, and how you respond to the user. Okay, it provided that overall sequencing that, okay, what is the clear difference between those two? Okay, let's try to understand that now. Okay, again, it's a little bit theory, but when we do the practical, you will get a better idea. Okay, so the very first thing is that when you use any kind of topic, classic orchestration matches a user query with the trigger phrases. So whatever trigger phrases you supplied, it just matches with that. Okay. And over here, it will match based on the description and purpose. We haven't created that topic yet, so you will not be able to relate it out. But when we turn on that feature, in topic section as well, it will turn, instead of trigger phrases, you can write your own natural language prompt as well. Okay. Which we will talk about in future. Child and connected agent, let's park it at this point because it's like, okay, calling one agent from another agent, which is again my class number 12, 13, or 14th topic. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Tool means we know that Power Automate or connector or custom connector or any kind of custom prompt, right? So tools can only be called explicitly from a topic. So, last time when we created the whole topic of registering patient booking, at that time, we called that, okay, now they need to create that entry into the Dataverse table and give the reference number to it, right? So what happened here is like it need to provide the reference number, right? And it need to provide some sort of query. So that query with the Power Automate as well as insert operation into Dataverse, we all write it into the topic, right? Now, if you have generative orchestration, last time as well, someone asked me that if you add any knowledge, will it do automatically that finding the, what's the status based on that particular stuff? Here, you don't need to have that. It shouldn't be always from your topic. It can be randomly. If you have any kind of actions defined, if you have defined any kind of flow based on the instruction, it will call automatically. Okay, knowledge, let's park at this point because this is what I'm going to talk about in today's class. So knowledge can be used as a fallback when there is no topic matches the user's query or explicitly from or within the topic. Okay. And in this case, knowledge can be searched explicitly. I will go with this point later on as well once we finish our first use case. Okay. Again, use of multiple topics, tools, and knowledge sources. Agents try to select a single topic to respond to the user, falling back to the knowledge if not configured. Okay, but again, here in this case, it will use a combination of the topics and tools all together. Okay, I know many things are you are not able to understand at this point because a couple of things will going into the future classes, but just keep in the mind that this is what the behavior looks like. Okay, when we go to that part, we will come to this section again and we will see that different side by side as well. You will get exact understanding around that. Okay. And again, asking user for an input, right? So in the classic orchestration, it will only execute the author messages that you have configured. It will only ask the question related to it. While here, it will automatically create the question as well, even if your topic don't have that particular question. Okay. And responding to a user, again, it will just use the author message and responding to the user from the topic or tool. But here it will use all the combined thing like topic or tool or other agents and combine all the knowledge and just show it to the user. All right. This is what two terminology, generative orchestration versus classic orchestration, you need to consider in our mind. Okay. Now we will talk about this thing in detailing into next class as well, because this classic orchestration and generative orchestration depend on the licensing as well. So when you use classic orchestration, it will consume the less credit for your Copilot agent. But when you are using the generative orchestration, it will use more credit from your Copilot agent. Cost is involved into both of this model. Okay, because that's the reason why Microsoft has these two options, right? Now, when we cover up the licensing in the next part, we will go into more detail over here. Okay, but right now, just imagine we are not doing anything at this point over here, and simply we are just making our orchestration as disabled by default. Okay, and now let's talk about the knowledge source here, and let's teach our agent with some sort of knowledge over here. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just going to the knowledge over here, and here I'm trying to configure one knowledge source. Okay, and we know that one of the public facing site we want to train here. All right, so let's click on add a knowledge over here, and when you click on add knowledge, let's choose the public facing website. Okay, now here you can supply any public facing website. So already in my document I provided one of the website, which is this company is using ato.gov.au. Okay, now remember one thing. Over here as well, there are certain set of rules that we need to follow when you are setting up your website. Okay, let me just click on learn more option over here as well. Okay, and over here, when you are configuring the knowledge sources, there is a public website option as well. Okay, now how much maximum level of the URL it support? Okay, only two level depth URL you can provide here. Okay, like you can just provide like, okay, www.yourwebsite.com, so it will cover up your whole website. If you are targeting any specific page, you can just use like this .com slash and slash up to two level only. Okay, if you are using like a big URL like this, after forward slash, maybe if you are using engines, this, it will not support. Okay, how much maximum level it will support? To maximum level of the website is supported. So we are just going to use at the root level itself, because I wanted to cover up the whole website over here. Okay, you can configure more website as well. Maximum how many website you can provide here? 25 website for generative AI orchestration, and if you are using classic orchestration, you can provide 4 website. Okay, this limitation is again depending on your orchestration, and that's the reason why I explained you that orchestration at the very beginning. Okay, currently we are still using classic one, so 4 will be the limitation, but if you turn it to generative AI, maximum 25 URLs you can supply over here. Okay, so let me just add this first public facing website over here, and as soon as you provide the website over here, you can just provide appropriate name and appropriate description if you want. Okay, so right now what I'm doing here is I'm not doing anything here, and simply clicking on add to agent. Okay, and let's add this website to our agent first. Okay, so let it to be created. Will take some moments in order to set up the public facing website over here, and as soon as the website is added over here, you can see this kind of ready option. Okay, when it is showing the green status like this ready, which means that yes, your website is ready to use. Okay, sometimes what happen here is sometimes your few website which are very large website. Okay, when you are trying to add that over here into your Copilot agent, usually it is taking around 1 to 2 minutes in order to set it up over here as the initial step. Because what happens is when you are trying to add that website over here, behind the scene, it will use the some sort of architecture to make your query, whatever user will type of over here, obviously it need to refer that knowledge source, right? So it just go to that knowledge source and trying to do some background activity over there. So sometimes what happens is when you try to add more and more website or some large website over here, to make it ready, it will take around 1 to 2 minutes to prepare for that. Okay, so this is just at the very high level I'm trying to show you here. All right, now once this website is ready, again we need to do some sort of more configuration over here. Okay, whenever in the Copilot Studio, remember one thing, never underestimate this description anywhere or name anywhere. Okay, you just need to be very specific, because it's all about prompts, it's all about AI, it's all about natural language understanding. So more and more you become very specific for your name and description, the more better result your Copilot agent will give it to you. Okay, so here we are becoming very specific that okay, what name and description I want to supply, and what this knowledge source is actually doing. That okay, from this knowledge source, what kind of information you will get it. Okay, so let me just provide some sort of inputs over here as well. Okay, so let me just type some of the description over here to my knowledge source. Okay, so let me just add some stuff that okay, this knowledge source searches the information from the website which offers the taxation related information. Okay, or maybe if you just don't want to utilize like this, you can do this as well. Okay, just search on the Google. Okay, like this is the website. Okay, ATO.gov. Okay, and let's see, Australian Taxation Office, right? And this is where you can get the description as well. The ATO is a government principal revenue collection agency. Our role is to manage and shape the tax, excise, and superannuation system that fund. And when you click on that, you will get more information. So sometimes at the Google level as well, you will find some sort of base information at least for your agent. Okay, so maybe you can just utilize that information as well if you want. Okay, so I'm just becoming very specific at this point that okay, I'm just copying few information over here that right, I'm just providing this in my knowledge source as well. Okay, perfect. Website link is also there over here, and maybe you can just provide over here some sort of friendly name if you want. So I'm just providing over here that ATO, government revenue collection agency. Okay, just provide proper name here. Okay, now remember one thing here, it also offer you one more capability in the Copilot agent called official source. Okay, now what do we mean by official source? Okay, generally what happen here is whenever you are configuring any knowledge source into Copilot agent, Copilot agent again develop on top of the large language model. Okay, now what happen here is any kind of agent, let's say currently you are configuring any kind of knowledge source over here, right? If you do not provide any knowledge source, sometimes this agent, what it try to do, it just try to make the normal Google query, or not Google query, behind the scene in architectural wise, they are saying that they are making the Bing search query. Bing search is again like a Microsoft search engine. You know how that will work. So if you just open up the Edge, right? Let's say I'm just opening Microsoft Edge at this point on my stuff. Okay, and this is like default Bing search that you are able to see, which is integrated on the home page, right? And let's say I'm just making like ATO government. Let's say for an example, when you are making this kind of query, right? So this is what you are getting from the Bing search result over here, right? So what happened here is like sometimes when you are not providing any specific knowledge sources, your Copilot agent try to make this kind of Bing search, because Bing search is again like a Microsoft default search engine, and whatever result it render over here, it just summarize and show it to the user. At the time there is no authenticity of the source, because in Bing search you can see that you can find so many answer. You can find some answer from this website, or maybe you can find some answer from some sort of blog post, or any private sources. So there is no authenticity of the source, right? But now, as you are building your own custom Copilot agent, at the time you want to make sure that, okay, if your result that user is asking is coming from only this website, you want to say that, okay, as per the official source. Official source means, okay, it is coming from this agent's authentic source that you have configured behind the scene. It's not coming from any random search result from the internet. So that is what it is proposing the authenticity of the answer of the question that user has asked. So make sure you turn it on, so at least your user will understand that okay, this answer is not any random answer, but this agent is trained with some sort of model behind the scene. It uses that to answer this query. Okay, so make sure you make the official source on. And when you make the official source on, it will show you this kind of pop-up box. What it is saying that setting this source as official will update your agent instruction with this. So basically it will update your agent instruction that answer grouping data which has a tag authority wise with a header line containing a tick box followed by based on the official sources. Data with no tag must be grouped after adding a new line and end without the header. Now what it is saying, simple, if I explain in a very simple word, this pop-up box message. Basically, it will just provide one additional instruction to your Copilot agent that, okay, whenever user is making any query, try to locate out this official source. And if you find the answer from that, make sure you show that okay, as per the official source, that kind of line, add that so user will know that okay, this is from the official source. Rest of the result, if you find from somewhere else, maybe when you have more knowledge sources, just append those answers after that, but official source answer would be first. That's what it is trying to say it over here. Okay, click on get it and turn that on, and let's try to save this up. And your first knowledge source you have configured perfectly here. Okay, so let it to be. Okay, so you configured your first knowledge source and you are all done, and this is official source as well. And now what, let's just try to test our agent over here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, let me debug my let me just make the debug mode on, track between the topics on as well, so you will exactly know that okay, how this classic orchestration search will work. Okay, and how this entire thing will work over here. Okay, now let me just ask some sort of random question to my agent. Okay, because we have configured this knowledge source, okay, our official TextMate site. Okay, so now I just want to ask few questions to it, that okay, how can I how can I lodge my tax return? Tax return. Okay, I'm just asking this question and let's see what it come up with an answer for me over here, because that's something we need to know. All right, so I'm just asking this question. I'm hitting enter now and let's see what it come up with. Okay, it will take some time and you can see by default what node has it executed. It executed this node called conversational boosting node. Okay, what is this node? This node is a system topic. Okay, and what this conversational boosting do basically, at the very beginning of the class I explained you the system topic, right? So let me just open this up for you quickly with some other agent so you will understand. This is the Copilot agent system topic it created, because it is a classic orchestration. So it didn't find any topic related the question that we asked, so it by default executed this one, conversational boosting. Okay, and it is showing that okay, create a generative answer from the knowledge sources. So basically this node is a system topic which is automatically considered that okay, whatever your knowledge sources are there, go there and try to find out the answer. And that's the difference that we have seen into this official documentation as well, that knowledge. So knowledge can be used as a fallback when there no topic match to the user's query. Okay, so when user has asked this question, no topic was matched, so it execute this fallback topic as a conversational boosting topic, and from that we have that knowledge source configured, and from that knowledge source it try to find it out. Okay, but if we do the same thing with the generative orchestration, it will not call this conversational boosting by default. Okay, it will just promptly check the knowledge and it will answer it out. But again, you need to wait for one more class for that. But this is, I'm just trying to understand you, or trying to explain you that okay, how the classic orchestration, how my classic orchestration agent will know that okay, I need to find this answer from this data source. So this is the default node, which is conversational boosting node as a system topic, which is telling my Copilot agent that okay, Dhruvin has configured some data sources over there. From that, you need to find out your answer. Okay, and now what, let's observe the answer. So what it has done for us. Okay, so it has added this line, as I said, based on the official sources, because it didn't use any random search result over here and display to you. It uses your actual source that you have supplied, and based on that it provide the whole instruction to you that, okay, create account first, then access my tax, then prepare your tax return, then lodge your tax return, what are the steps for that, benefits of that tax return. Okay, and it provide you this kind of helper link as well, that okay, exactly from where it pick up this content, it provide you that. This is called as a citation. Okay, citation is very important in any of the AI based agent. Okay, most of the agent in the, even when you go to the Google or whenever you go into Bing search. Okay, let's say if even if you go to the Bing search over here, right, when you search anything, right, the Copilot is generating this kind of answer, but it also show you on the right hand side that okay, from where it pick up this answer, right. And maybe let's say for an example, even if you do the Google search sometimes, right, nowadays Gemini also support this thing. Okay, let's say for an example, if I'm just typing over here that okay, I want to convert my date time to string in Power Automate. Let's say I'm just making this normal Google Gemini query. Okay, and I'm just hitting enter. Okay, now you can see that over here as well. I mean, it just giving this answer. And let me just show you better one where I have Google login already. Over here, maybe let me just hit my search result. Okay, and over here AI mode is also available for Gemini. Okay, for Google search result, so it is looking all the website and it just giving you the output like this. Now here as well, if you observe, everywhere there is some sort of links available. Okay, so this is called as a citation in any AI platform, that which when you make any query and if it uses AI to find out that content, it need to refer that okay, I giving you this thing because I find something over here with these two articles. So it referred these two articles, it customize it and make it for you as a result. Okay, so this is how the same way in Copilot agent, your own custom agent as well, it uses a similar pattern, that okay, it provides the citation to you. Okay, now when you click on the citation, it will redirect you to the official source that you have provided. This is the exact same site that you have configured, ato.gov.au, and here you are getting your whole answers for yourself. Okay, now let's say for an example, even if you scroll down over here, like okay, it provided some sort of additional information as well to you. Okay, that okay, if you need any kind of help or something, it has this kind of reference link as well, and provided some additional information. And at the bottom as well, it will show you all the references, that from where exactly these references are got. Okay, and when you click on that, it will just redirect you over there. So basically, whatever knowledge sources you configured, from that it will try to find out the answer for you. Okay, and giving you this kind of result. Okay, let me try some more hard sentences over here, or maybe let me ask some more tough question as well to my agent to test this out. Okay, so I'm just like okay, I'm just adding like okay, my annual income is 120 Australian dollar. This year, how much tax, how much tax I do need to pay? Okay, let's say, did it able to understand and answer it out? If not, then what it will give it to you? Okay, let's see. Okay, all right, and this is what it come up with a fantastic result for you. Okay, it's just giving you that okay, to calculate the tax on your annual income of this of the current year, you can use the simple text calculator provided by this. It navigated you that okay, how to go there. Okay, blah blah blah, and it just provided the reference link as well. And this is where exactly your calculator is. Now you just open your calculator and do the taxation. I mean, the way you want. Okay, so exact information it just provided you and just giving it to you over here. Although it didn't provided the exact calculation over here, because it just provided the reference to you, but at least provided the official information to you. Okay, you can ask into any natural language, right? You can do the conversation as well, that okay, in what text lab I am falling under. Okay, let's write this kind of conversation. Okay, and let's see what it come up with. Okay, and it remember the previous state as well, that what you have supplied to your agent, and based on that it continue this conversation that okay, you provided earlier that your income is 120 AUD, right? Now, you know based on that it just provided you this particular stuff. Okay, and let's read the answer now. Okay, with the annual income of 120 Australian dollar, you fall under the lowest tax slab, because I just forget that okay, 120,000. I just need to provide that, but I just provide 120 Australian dollar, which is just like $100, right? It doesn't follow any tax slab, but it provided reference as well that okay, from where these different tax slabs and those informations are available for you. Okay, you can do the more conversation as well. What if my income will 150,000 150,000 Australian dollar. Okay, let's see how it will behave, right? And how it understand the context, right? Now it is saying me that okay, the tax slab that you fall under depending on the resident status of the purpose, blah blah blah, and you're following in this one, so probably this one would be the stuff. But it provided this whole information to you over here, and it provided reference as well to you. Okay, so whatever question I'm asking, it is giving me the proper answers to it. Okay, let me becoming more stuff over here, that okay, how can I apply for GST. GST concept is also there in Australia, so they also have the different GST concepts there. Okay, for any product, they fall under the specific set of GST compliance that they need to follow. Okay, so this is what it is providing. Okay, let me ask that. Okay, what is the last date of filing my return? Okay, and let's see what it come up with. All right. So last date of filing your tax return is 31st October 2024. Let's see the references, that what exactly it refers over here. So it's still referring the older article and provided me this particular information over here from the knowledge sources we have configured over there for ourselves. Okay. So this is how this entire knowledge source conversation is looking like. Okay. Now you can try the different statement as well. I have just like this kind of question as well. You can try all of this question if you want. I'm just, because of saving the time, I'm not adding each and every question, but trust me, this is what I've tested already. Maybe if you just want to play around that okay, whether your knowledge sources are working properly or not, maybe you can just try out any question from here. Or maybe if you just open the website and if you think that I want to generate some question based on this answer which is already there on the website, feel free to do it. Basically this will help you, I mean it will answer you properly. Okay, so this is how the website as a knowledge source is working in the world of Copilot Studio. Okay, now remember one thing over here. All right, so currently we have only website as a knowledge source, so it just find the answer from the website and just give it to you. Okay, now we are going to extend the same case study with some more another level, that not only just a website, but now I want to configure some sort of files as well, like static files that my organization is referring, and I want that when user is typing something, I want users to look at those knowledge sources as well and give it to answer. Or maybe they should combine the information as well, like how Gemini work or how Bing search is working. Like okay, they have the whole set of different knowledge sources. They combine the result and give you the final result, and it will give you the citation as well, that okay, this is what they exactly pick up from this knowledge source, or this is what they pick up exactly from this knowledge source, and give you complete picture around that. Okay, so how you can do that, we will talk about that as well in the detail in the second case study. But before that, I would like to pause here for a moment and want to open the stage for Q&A. If anyone has any questions so far with respect to the knowledge source configuration, what's the importance of the classic orchestration, generative AI orchestration, how the how it calls the default conversational boosting node, how to write that prompt in a better fashion. I'm happy to answer and clarify those things over here. Okay, so the stage is open for Q&A now. Just raise your hand up and I've just announced the name. I can see first raise hand from Raj. You have a question?
Yes, Dwayne.
Yes.
Like, what are the limitations on these areas? Like in that, for example, you are giving the different sources, right?
Yes.
So if we are taking the same example of tax related, so if we take like uh, exact uh, exact tax terms, or there will be a lot of sections where we can that's where CPS will utilize to strategize the tax rate. So how much source we can give for this Copilot? I know if it is LLM, we can give very large database, but in the Copilot point of view or
Maximum
Studio point of
25.
view, how much, only website you said,
Yes.
but
Website.
data wise, how much is the data we can give, like a files or anything, any
Yeah, that's
limitations?
something. Yeah, each data source has its own limitation. So if we are talking about the website, 25 website, we can do that. If we are talking about the documents, let me just open this official link over here, which I'm about to open in the next session only. Just a minute. Let me just open this up quickly. Okay. Each source has its own limit. Just a minute. I have opened it somewhere. There is a big topic. Let me just open. There is already in one of my stuff. Okay. So, all right. So this is where it is. Like generative mode 25 website. Uh, Classic. Again, it's depending on what mode you are using into that. This is simply searches on the Bing, but as we see in the specific limitations over there, like it will like a maximum 25 knowledge sources. I mean, sites you can supply over there. Documents, when we go into detail, there is a limitation like 512 MB for the dataverse. Okay, if you are referring from the SharePoint, it uses the less amount of file size. Your file should be less than 10 MB or 20 MB per file size. But again, like if you are having some other licenses available, it can support the larger file as well. So limitations are everywhere. Like, I mean, every data source that you are configuring as a knowledge, we will when we go into that level of detailing, probably I can provide you the more information around that. But right now, consider for website, it's 25. Document as well, there is limit that maximum file size should be there. Maximum amount of document number as well, there is limited that it should not be more than 1024 document you can add into your one knowledge source as a separate file. They are enhancing it day by day. I mean, the capabilities are getting increased, but again, like each source has some sort of limitation. Like it's not something that unlimited, and they clearly articulated that into their documentation. So whenever you go with any stuff, they clearly say that okay, this is what it is limitation versus this is what not your limitation. So yeah, we'll go in detail when we actually use that knowledge source. Okay.
Okay, that's true.
Yep. I can see reason from Anand. You have question?
Yeah, hi Dhruvin. Dhruvin, I just want to understand, let's in this chat, what we are trying to do is like we input about that $120 is my thing, okay, for the first
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Then the next question also it assumes that I'm asking on the basis of $120 only.
Correct. Exactly. Yes.
So can we kind of have a break over there, like not to refer to the previous thing?
This is the default behavior of any large language model, Anand. I mean, you really can't control that. There is no such option over here that it shouldn't recall the previous conversation. It's just a matter that you need to end up your chat, you need to restart again. Even the chat GPT do the exact same thing. I mean, it just remember your previous context and answer according to that. And I mean, Hopefully in future they will introduce such option that do not remember the previous context or something. Or maybe here you maybe you can just try. I never tried this out, but let me just ask like this. Do not carry forward previous context and tell me in which tech lab I fall under. Let's see what it responds. Okay, maybe it should work because sometimes when we tell ChatGPT that okay, do not use any previous reference, it follows that. That's what I have seen. Yeah, so
Right, followed.
yeah, it followed. It followed.
Just a
So
hint we
some
have to put over there.
yes, something like that you need to put into that because this is how the large language model usually works. No matter it's a
Okay.
GPT model or GPT-4 or GPT-3 everyone remember the previous context basically. Okay,
Actually, what happens over here is like, let's suppose a one wrong input comes and user is just typing the
I
questions,
understand.
so he will not be able to get the proper
They need
information.
to change the prompt again and again. Again, this is
Yeah,
a challenge in the whole AI world as well. Like, prompt is a key here. Like, if you provide a better prompt, you will get a better result. It's the On this principle, the whole AI is set up. But nowadays, users are also becoming very smart. Even I have seen the business user or a normal user, or maybe just college going people, or even I have seen our parents, old age parents.
yeah,
Sometimes they
that
are
is
not
true.
getting into they are not getting something into the they try this thing, they try this thing. But yeah, this is problem. I understand. But yeah, this is how they can tackle. And human mind is even more sharper than the
That is
how
why,
the this prompt
yeah, correct,
prompt is
correct.
behaving, because nowadays people are doing. I'm sometimes surprised to see that how good people are at just prompting. When I look at my mother and father to ask something to chat GPT, until they will not get a result, they constantly change the prompt, and finally they are getting it. I mean, it's the power as a human and AI
Yeah.
combination there, we are getting nowadays. So yeah, that's right.
Rubin, one more thing about like
Yeah.
every time when we create a chatbot, it is always showing that GPT-4o model it is using, right? So let's suppose when other kind of stuff like it is very this is the response model. So what is the security level for it? Like, is it like secure for the enterprise if you are using
Yes,
inside the
of
Copilot?
course.
They're not.
Yes, it is 100% secure. So Microsoft has official white paper around that. I mean, you need to read so much inform. I mean, they have, if you search for white paper, for Copilot Studio, you will find this whole instruction. Of course, like they will not reveal anything like okay how they are using around that and all, but they have lots of compliance document for that. They are not using any data. It's not going anywhere to retrain their model and all. That's what I talk
Okay.
about in the class one as well. So it just uses its own, I mean, just utilize this model as a large language model. But on top of that, whatever data that you have supplied, it's not going anywhere. Or, if you use any SharePoint or Dataverse on top of that, that data
Then
is
also
also
it will
going to
be.
be secure because it's your own tenant where you just use that model to make your, I mean, on top of that, whatever you build, it's your own custom thing. And you just tell your language model that it follows the basic human principle to find out the answer from that. Basically, it's just like that. It's same like how you are teaching, you are learning with me right now, this whole Copilot Studio, right? Now, I mean, when you go to the industry, right? It's not something that I'm going to claim, or maybe I'm going to tell someone that, okay, you build this TextMate agent, but it is done from this particular course or this particular thing. It's your own thing. I mean, it's your own skill, right? So you just use this as your knowledge base, right? On top of that, you are building your whole custom thing. It's your own product. It's your own authenticity. Tomorrow I'm not going to claim you that okay, you take a training for me, so whatever you are developing or whatever you are building for someone, it's like there should be some sort of royalty for it. It's like this pricing model and of the AI agent and same human kind of services work. So you just
Got
uses
it.
that GPT model as a service model. You are paying for that, for this licensing. And on top of that, you are getting your services. They don't care what kind of thing you are building on top of that. It's just like
Okay.
that.
So
Perfect.
it covers the orchestration part also. The GenAI services and the orchestrations will also be limited to this tenant only,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct. That's it to this agent only, not even tenant. So
Okay, to
whatever
this agent.
orchestration, this agent only, if you enable this for this agent, only TextMate agent will have the orchestration. If you are doing with something else, I mean, if you don't use for some other, that's fine. But what's the power of orchestration will, again, it will take one more, two more class to understand it better. Okay. Again, the licensing complications as well come up into picture when orchestration will be there, which we'll talk about in the future class.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Next, I can see reason from Nilesh.
Yeah, hi, Ruben. So,
Yes,
we have added Australian tax related website
yes,
here as a source, right? So, can I add one more site, maybe from Indian tax website I
yes,
can add here? So,
yes,
multiple countries tax site we can add, and multiple people
yes.
can accordingly. Okay, okay, okay,
Yep, yep.
got
You
it.
can add another knowledge as well. Indian tax government up to
Okay,
25 you can add, and with classic you can add four. That's it.
okay, okay, understood. Thanks.
Perfect. Anyone else has any other question before we go forward? Okay. Now it's a reaction. I can see reason from Rakesh. You have question?
Yes, Dhruvin. So we have checkbox and official source, correct?
Yes,
So that
correct.
would like agent would look up from that official
Yes,
source and give us like a first answers. So let's say if we add like couple of sources and
yep.
then mark it as an official source, so which one would it consider as like the first option
It
when
will it will
providing an answer?
it will just combine the result basically. If it is the same source, I mean same type of source. But let's say for an example, if you are having one for Australia, one for India, one for US, right? At the time,
Mm-hmm.
I mean at the time it will just pick up if you do not specify in your prompt that you are looking for Indian tax lab. Okay, at the time it will just if you just say that okay, my salary is 50,000 rupees. So when you use the word rupees, it will understand that okay, I need to go to this Indian site and I need to find the answer. But let's say even if you don't supply anything, it will just pick up the generic, very generic result. So when you get the false result, then you will realize that, okay, I need to be very specific and you change your prompt, then it will pick up the answer from a specific thing. But let's say if you are having the similar content through multiple knowledge sources, like, okay, this is one official site for Australian government for taxation. You do the another two official government site as well for taxation. And if you ask the similar question to it, and maybe all the website has the answer, maybe just club the answer and show it, and below that it will show you the references that okay from exactly where it pick it up as a reference. But when you make it official source, all will be at the top level itself. But let's say if you make one official and two unofficial, at the time official will be first, and then it will just show the another results below that. That's how it prioritize the model answer.
Thank you, Dhruvin.
Perfect. All right, anyone else has any other question? Okay, perfect. Okay, so now it's just a reaction time. Just give me the reactions, at least you understand how to configure public facing website in your knowledge base, and behind the scene how this search is working. If that part is clear, just give me some sort of reactions. uh, if it is clear for you like what is classic and what is generative orchestration, maybe just give me some sort of reactions, so at least you understand all it well. Okay, maybe just give me some sort of reactions around that. All right, perfect. All good. All right. I can see one question in the chat window. How GenAI enable orchestration is considering credit score? Is it based on the how many prompts has been? We'll talk about that, Anand, in the next class, where this question will be answered specifically about the score uh, on the answering as well as whole licensing point. So just wait for that one more class. Okay, perfect. So let's move to one more level up from here, where we will talk about another data source, which is the file data source. We'll talk about the file data size limitation as well versus what it support versus not. Let's talk about that. Okay. Now, first of all, let me show you the files that I have over there and what file is having what kind of information. Let's talk. Let's just take that information as well. Okay. But before that, I would just like to take over here, like just a 5 minute short break. You can just take your refreshment and come back again. So at least you can able to follow up the full next set of exercises end to end. So it's just a 5 minute break time. You can just take a break and we'll come back here. It's 5:28 exactly at 5:33. We will come back here. All right. So it's a 5 minute break time for everyone. You can just do your refreshment. Hopefully everyone is back from the break. Just give me the reactions at least if you are back. Okay, correct. All right. So now let's get started with the second case study of today's class, where we are going to use specifically some sort of file as a knowledge source. Okay, so first of all, let me show you the end outcome of the file, which I've shown you at the very beginning. So this is the three sample file, which is again related to this text agent only. So this is having some sort of taxation related information. Okay, and this is the one of the file which my customer has provided me, which is having the agreement for avoidance of double taxation and prevention of the fiscal vision of Australia. And again, like so many pages are also there over here. It's entire like complete PDF document over there. Okay. Then I have another file, which is this one, which is referring to some sort of institutional framework for taxation in India. So if there are some entity or institutes are there, what kind of model that they need to follow and what are the rules for that. It's all about that whole document that they are having over here. Okay. And there is one more they have is CPA program for Australian taxation. So this is one more document they do have over here. Okay, so they provided this three document to us. Now what we need to do here is we just need to train our chat agent that okay, whatever knowledge that is done from the website, plus I need to look at these three data sources as well, three files that I'm supplying over there, and need to look at out what kind of result I'm getting. Okay, now the thing is that when you are doing this kind of file as a knowledge source, right, you need to ask some question to your uh, customer as well, because just uploading a file is not a solution in the Copilot Studio to get a proper answer from your agent. Okay, when you are uploading the sub files, okay, you need to tell your agent that okay, what this file is all about, what information does it carry. That's how it will know or it will understand that okay, uh, Dhruvin has asked this question, so maybe I need to go to this knowledge base and find out the answer. So some sort of natural language description you need to supply that okay, if you are having the file name Australia, that Australia file contains what kind of information. So they provided me this information that okay, this document contains the agreement between India and Australia to prevent double taxation and fiscal evasion, considering the income taxes in outline scope, applicability, and the provision of the agreement, including definition, taxation laws, specific guidelines for individual and business, operating both the countries. Key topics include permanent established, blah, blah, blah. So this is all this or document is all about. So some sort of description you need. Okay. And sometimes, you don't have that information because you are just a developer, right? You don't know what that file contents is all about, right? So that's something you need to do as a part of your requirement gathering with your business users when they are supplying any file. You need to ask this question that okay, what is all this file is all about? Can you just give me one pager description that what this file is contain and what this file is useful for, because that's something which you can use at your base prompt when you are building the Copilot agent. Okay, so that because as a human or maybe as a developer, if you try to, because you are not subject matter expert for that document, right? Now if I'm trying to read this whole document by my own, let's say it's a 50 pager document, right? Even I'm not be able to make it summarize. Okay, or maybe you can do one thing like okay, but this is what not most of the organization prefer. What you can do, if your customer is unable to provide you, you can do one thing. In your organization you should have Microsoft Copilot. Okay, don't do it on the Chat GPT, because Chat GPT, at least with not the free version. Okay, I'm showing you this trick as well, which I'm using sometimes, but usually I'm using this kind of what can I say is specific uh, M365 Copilot. okay, which is $30 plan for the organization. Most of the companies nowadays are having at least one or two license around that. Okay, so let me just open up one of the service account I do have, which is having that M365 Copilot. Just assume that my customer didn't provided me any such information to me, right? So at that time, how you can deal with those things. Okay, let's just take a quick idea around that. Okay, so I'm just showing you that trick as well over here. All right, now what happened here is, let me just open up my homepage of M365 Copilot. Okay, what I'll do here is, this is my M365 Copilot. There is an option over here as well to add your own content. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, simply I'm just upload my file over there because it's a secure environment. My file will also be very safe at this point. Okay, I'm just uploading this file. Okay, and I'll just make some prompt over here that help me to analyze what this file is all about. Okay, this is if your customer do not provide you the information, but try to make, because this AI generated is again like very specific. It not be providing you like a exactly what your customer, again it did the fantastic job. See, it just summarize it with the very big content, right? I don't require this much. Okay, I'm just making my prompt change it. Okay, one pager, one page, one paragraph summary about what this document all about and what type of answers it can you. Okay, you can just tweak your prompt a little bit. Okay, and probably it will just make a one pager, a one paragraph summary for you over here. Okay, so it just created this summary. Maybe this description as well, you can use it out. If your customer is unable to provide you, or maybe but never ever rely on this one, because your customer know their business better than this any AI in the world. Okay, so maybe try to ask them. I'm just showing you this trick. If you want to do your work faster, you can always use this thing. And remember this thing, this sensitive file never ever place on ChatGPT. Okay, because ChatGPT, when you place the file, you are losing the control. If the free version 100%, like your file is going on to their server, and you are completely losing the data of that, because ChatGPT is using that file to train the model again and again. Okay, so never ever do, because most of the organization already block the ChatGPT free version in most of the tenancies. Okay, so never ever do that mistake. Maybe use the M365 Copilot, or maybe plus version of the ChatGPT. Maybe you can utilize it for that particular purpose. Okay, so I'm just getting that, but here my customer is good. I just did the proper analysis. They provided me this information, so probably I'm going to use this particular information. Okay. Similar way, this is my second file, and for that as well, what exactly it provided me that information as well. And this is my third file, and what type of stuff it is that they provided me that information as well. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use as my baseline to train my model. All right, now let's get started by training our file model. Again, it's a very simple low code and didn't require any code or any kind of expertise over there. Click on add knowledge, and when you click on add knowledge, there is an option available called upload file option. Okay, and whenever you wanted to know any limitation of the model or anything, always specific learn more links are available. Click on that. Okay, when you click on this learn more link, you will be redirected over here to the official Microsoft site over here. Okay, and over here you will be able to know everything about that particular connector, that okay, how exactly it works versus you know uh, what kind of sources you can configure it. Okay, and where this file is saving behind the scene, and everything it will provide to you over there. Okay, also, the another question come up into our mind that okay, whenever you are using file as a knowledge source, what type of extension does it support? Does it support only PDF or Word or anything limitation on that part? So this is the official Microsoft documentation around that. That okay, at this point, whenever you upload the file, it supports this many of extension: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, text, HTML, CSV, XML, Open document, blah blah blah. Okay, this many of extension file it supports. If you have any file apart from this extension, this model will not support that. Okay, so always check this reference link. I mean, I have in my hands-on file already, so you can just go there. Okay, now Second important thing here as well, there are some of the limitations that they have clearly articulated here, that for file type, what is the limitation? Number one, image, video. We will read the limitation later on, because the thing is that we will be having enough time, because when we upload the file, it will take some time to train the model. Okay, so when it is training itself, at the time we will go through the limitation, because it will take some time in order to train the file. So let's upload our file and then we will go on to that limitation discussion. Okay, now over here I'm just clicking on upload file, and let me upload all three files. I'm selecting all the files and clicking on open. And as soon as you open that, it will show you this kind of name and description. Obviously, we need to modify it, but not with this interface. You can simply use add to agent over here. And there is an option as well available. Group this file. This is the recent feature which is available. Just 5 days back, they have rolled out this feature. Group these files. Now, what this feature is all about, let me just tell you. Grouping of the file means, what does it refer? Sometimes what happen here is, like, your knowledge sources are divided into so many different files, right? Like, just say for an example, these three files are related taxation. Okay, maybe another three files you are having related GST. Okay, sometimes what happen here is, like, for Copilot agent, the thing is that, like, you just want to group by your file, so that in future the administrative part is much more easier for you. At the time you can just group this file, and maybe you can just tell that, okay, what this group of file is all about, that okay, this is all about your taxation. Another three file, it's all about your stuff. So you just combine it in a group, like a folder kind of structure. So they have provided this file, but right now we are not just utilizing it, but this feature is available. Okay, but it is in preview at this point. More detailing I will do this weekend around, on my YouTube for sure, on particular this topic. But this capability is newly available capability, which has some advantages, that okay, so right now, earlier what happened is, if you are uploading 100 files, all the 100 files you need to separate out. Sometimes you get confused that, okay, out of this, how many files are related to GST, how many files are related to that. So this kind of feature can make your life much more simpler. Okay, right now we are not doing anything over here, group. Okay, click on add to agent first, and let's upload the file over here. As I said, maximum file size are how much? 512 MB file size. Okay, and again here as well, it giving you the complete instruction that okay, only text based files are supported. Image, video executable files are not, which we have already seen in the limitation. And files will be securely stored in the Dataverse. So behind the scene, whatever files you are uploading, it's not going anywhere to your GPT model, or it's not going anywhere to train other model. It simply store that information into the Dataverse. Okay, let it to be uploaded. And now remember one thing, when this file is something which you are uploading, over here you will be able to see in progress, and usually this in progress will take around 20 minutes in order to train your model. Okay, again depending on the file size, because files require some sort of time in order to train the model. So that's why it is showing you in progress here. Okay, and when it is ready, it will show you the ready state like this. Okay, but let's continue this at this point. Okay, what I'm doing here is, while it is doing in progress, I can pick up each individual file one by one, and let's just make it proper. Okay, so this is the one I opened. Of course, I need to provide proper description and proper name over here. Okay, so I'm just doing one thing. My customer has provided me all the information over here. So this Australia.pdf, what is all about? So maybe I just can make the name better, that this is all about the double taxation. So I'm just making this as a name, and description, I'm just copy pasting this description over here, that what exactly it is all about. Okay, and same like website, if you just want to make it as an official source, you can just make it. If you don't, if you can not make it off. Okay, I'm just doing it as is right now. I'm just saving this up. Okay, and let's say this is a newer version of the knowledge source, please refresh to obtain the latest change. Now what happen is, until it will not finish this in progress one, you will not be able to make any changes at this point. Okay, that's the reason, when we are uploading, maybe at the time if I have provided that description, that would be the ideal, because now this was my mistake. I just create it out and then I try to make it change. Okay, that's why it is not allowing me. But don't do this mistake at your place. Now what happened is, I need to, let me see if I can delete this out. Maybe deletion is easy, maybe. Let's see. but I think deletion will also take some time, because once you upload that, it is taking some sort of time in order to make this happen. Okay, at least deleted. All good. Let's see. Delete. Okay, let's not do this mistake. This is ready. See, now let me just change at least this one, probably outline taxation.pdf, right? So let me just change the name here, and description, let me just apply this out. Okay, let me just do save here. All right, so it's done. This is my first file knowledge source, and it's ready as well. It's not an official source, but I just make it like this. Let me add another two as well. Okay, so I'm uploading another two files quickly. Which one this is all about? Just a minute. CPA program subject outline. So this is third one, subject outline. Subject outline. Apart from that, this two is something which I need to re-upload. Let it to be. Let me change both the stuff here itself. I'm just doing this name, paste it, and description. Let's just paste it. And then this one and description applied. Okay. And now let's add to the agent. And now let it to be trained. Will take some time in order to train this out. Okay. Let it to be happen. Uploading your file. Please do not close the browser. It is just going into in progress mode over here. Okay. Let it to be happen. All right. Meantime, let me just go to this place and let's talk about the limitations now. Okay, while this is happening in the background. Okay, as I said, this is what we already read about. Images are only supported when it is embedded into PDF file. So what happened is, if you are having any kind of PDF, like we had this PDF, let's say, it has some diagram like this, right? And it has some content into that. So yes, this type of images are supported, but if you just upload a normal image, it will not. But if your images are in your PDF, it will try to understand and it will able to find out the answer from it. Okay. Embedded images are supported in all the languages. Icons are not supported. File larger than 512 MB are not supported. File with encryption, such as sensitivity label or password protected file. Let's say if your Excel or Word has password protected or sensitive label, it will not support. And up to how many maximum file you can upload? 500 files. Okay. Knowledge sources website, how much? 25 files. How much? Maximum 500 files you can upload it over here. Okay, and the way you are uploading the file, it is storing into your database, so basically it will consume your database storage. Okay, so these are few limitations which you need to consider in your mind. All right, now let's see and go to our knowledge source and see what's the progress it has done so far. All right, I'm just refreshing this over here. And let's see how much it will do. Okay, if it is taking more time, what we will do is, before this class, I already know about this thing, that it is usually taking some time in order to train your entire thing. I have created similar thing, same three file. I already trained it with some another environment. I will show you that, and we will try some questions asking from that knowledge source. Okay, so we will try this while it is happening, because generally last night when I did this all three files together, it was taking around 15 minute to 20 minute of time in order to finish this whole process. Okay, sometimes you will face some challenges as well here, that okay, if sometime one of the file is showing you that okay, failed or something, at that time it will show you the retry option as well. So if it is unable to train, you need to just retry this out. Okay, but again, this will take some sort of time in order to appear for this. Okay, meantime we will go with our already trained model. Okay, meantime if it is finished, we will test it here as well. If not, you know you can also perform the same exercise, and after 15-20 minutes it will work. It will work absolutely fine. Okay, so now let me open up my another environment where I already trained these three files because of this long wait time limitation. Okay, so I have one of the environment over here, and let me just show you. If I'm going to the agent, this is the similar text meta I do have over here. And now let's try to test this out. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to the knowledge section over here. And first of all, let me show it to you. So this is what I did last night, the overall training of these three files at this point. Okay. One, two, and three files over here. All right. And now let's see. And again, let me just open up one of the stuff over here. Okay, so when you open this up, it will show you like this. I did not make it any official source over here. I just trained it out. Currently, this website is only having the official source. Okay, but again, like here I didn't provided like very good description and all because this is just a proof of concept. My main purpose is for file, so I'm not too much fuzzy about the website at this point. Okay, but this is three files which I've trained, and this is how it looks like 100% trained file and ready to use now. Okay, now let's try to do some prompt around that. Okay, so you will get an idea that how the file output is rendering in the Copilot agent. Okay, now let me talk to you about one more important thing before we proceed for that. Okay, when you are doing the testing, what you need to do is, I would suggest you one thing, that when you are having the multiple sources like this, here you have one website and three files, right? Now let's go to the topic section over here, and we know that whenever there is a classic orchestration, at the time it by default call your conversation boosting node over here. Okay, and when you go to your conversational boosting node, here you always have your data sources. Okay, now click on edit over here. All right, and now over here you can see couple of options over here. Okay, like knowledge sources option. Okay, now when you turn this option, you can define that, okay, your Copilot agent should be searched from all the sources, or you want to be very specific that it should answer from this or this or this file only. It shouldn't touch the website. Okay, you can just select that option over here for you if you want. All right. Now the thing is that you know when you are doing for the very first time testing, like, okay, you have website, you have files. Okay, I would recommend you that turn off the website for a moment, because try out some of the question, because this is all related. Maybe some of the things already there on the website and some of the things already there in the document, then it will club the result. Right now, as a developer, when you are just doing the testing, maybe just temporary basis, turn off this website for a few moments when you are doing the testing. After you do the testing, maybe enable it and then check result as well, and see how combined result is also looking like. Okay, so for testing, what I'm doing here is go to the data sources and make sure you just turn on the knowledge source, and from that knowledge source you just enable these files over here and ask the question from the file and see what kind of response it is getting. If you are not even able to get the response from the file, which means that your file is not trained properly, or you are not getting proper result or something like that, which you can solve it. Okay, so right now I'm just turning this off and clicking on the save button over here. All right, to make sure that my conversational boosting node will only look at the PDF file as a knowledge source, not my website. Okay, but later on we will try with both the stuff. Okay, now let me ask some of the questions over here. Okay, so let me just open up my PDF and let me just see what kind of question can I ask here. Okay, so let me just see. This is what I have, like, okay, agreement of double taxation and prevent this with Australia. Okay, so maybe I'm just asking here one question. How can I ask, how can I avoid double taxation? Okay, and let's see how it will behave, or whether it is able to answer or not answering. Let's see. Okay, so it just go to the create generative node, and this is how it is finding the answer for you. See how it is creating. Avoiding double taxation income in India. To avoid double taxation, go here, credit method, and you see the citation. Citation are the key, which will tell you that from where it is finding that answer. See this one citation. Let's click on that. As soon as you click on that, see it expose your file here. That okay, this is I'm giving the reference because you have one of the file called Australia PDF, which is already having this information, and from there I just pick up that information. Okay, it provide you citation for each and every stuff. That okay, exactly from where it pick up the reference, and it provide you this kind of link as well. So when you click on that, you can see the file reference. So you will know that okay, from this is where my data is coming through. Okay, let's go one more level up. Let me ask some more question around that. Okay, maybe I'll just copy this and I'll provide that. Okay, give me more information on this diplomat and uh, counselor officials, and let's see what it come up with. Okay, and it just drafted this whole answer, and it just giving me the citation as well, that from exactly where it pick up, and giving me this whole answer. Okay, you are not subject matter expert here, right? So maybe what you can do is you can just give it to your customer that okay, customer, please check this result, are you happy with that, or are you not happy with that? Because content verification is mostly the job for the subject matter expert over there. All right, now let's go one more level up from here. Let me ask some more question from some other files, random files, right? So let's say what this file is all about. Let's see. Let's say this is what it is, principle of a good tax. Okay, and here I have this where this revenue come from. I'm just seeing this kind of thing, federal budget paper 2020 12 2020 13. Okay, so let me just ask something from this graph. Okay, where taxpayers money is spent, right? This is all about this, right? So let me just ask around this type of question. Okay, where taxpayers money is spent. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure whether it will give me the answer or not. Okay, but let's see. And see, this is how beautifully it answered you, that based on the federal budget paper 2012-2013, taxpayers' money is allocated to the various sector. And these are all the various sector. Let me just open up the PDF as well side by side and see whether it's a correct or not. Let's do some content verification by our own as well. Okay, so this is what, and where is this? Oh shit, I closed it and I just lost it. Just a minute. Let me just type it again. Where where taxpayers' money is spent. Let's see. Okay, and it just giving me this whole answer, right? And you can see that 131,656 dollar on social security and welfare. I can see it somewhere over here in my PDF. See, social security and welfare amount, this amount, right? Although it's an image in your PDF, right? But it's still able to understand it. It is still able to give the answer onto that, right? Health sector, right? Around 61,003 million. Education sector. This is what the money is all spent on, right? So it is just understanding this whole stuff for you over here, right? You can ask some more random question as well if you want, or if you just want to try out few things over there, right? Like let's say for an example, uh, the treasury reports to this. I'm just going through the random pages, right? And I'm just asking the random question over here, right? Let's say for an example, this is one statement. The board hold 11-month board meetings per year throughout the Australia and hold the meeting also with a member of advisory panel. Maybe I can just ask that how many monthly board meetings throughout the Australia are happening for the discussion of the taxation. Okay, and let's see what it answers. Maybe you can just try out that. Okay, or maybe any random thing from this document you can ask, and maybe it will just answer it you out. Okay, and the last one is this file, right? CPA program subject to subject outline. Okay, from there as well you can just ask any question and see what kind of, let's say you just want to understand GST and FBT fundamentals. Okay, let's say GST and FBT fundamentals. Okay, I'm just asking this kind of question. Okay, and let's see what it answers over here. Okay, so it just get the correct answer from there and it just printed you. Okay, and now let's say for an example, I'm just asking some random question which is not even relevant to anything over here. Okay, so let's say for an example, I just write here like, okay, book a movie ticket. Something totally unrelevant to the whole stuff that I'm having over there. Okay, let's see what it come up for you over here. All right, and see what kind of result it is showing to you. All right, so it just uses the general knowledge of the large language model over here. Okay, that, and doesn't show any citation over here. Okay, and why it did that, let me tell you that as well. So in fallback node, there is one more thing which I wanted to talk you about. So it is using this knowledge sources to provide the output. Okay. Apart from that, there is one more stuff over here that it uses general knowledge, which means that AI can use its own general knowledge to, answer the question. Okay. Now what happens is when you are asking that book a movie talk ticket, right? It didn't find the answer from any of the knowledge sources that you have supplied, right? So at the time, what it did, it just used the generic query. It uses its own language and it provided you the very generic answer to you. It didn't provided you any website link. It didn't provided you any citation. It didn't provided you any reference link. But it at least it tried to answer you. Let's say if you turn this option off that allow the AI to use its own general knowledge, then what will happen? Okay, let's see. Now, I'm just asking one of the question that, okay, I want to buy Tesla electric car. Help me with that. Okay, now we just use that general knowledge thing as a turn off option, right? Now let's see what it will do. It will really answer it out, still answering. See, it still uses this thing. Okay, it's try to answer it out, but again, that feature was turned off, right? But final render didn't happen and it just say that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to help you with that, can you try rephrasing it? Okay, and it's only visible to you and it's saying that, okay, edit your knowledge sources because I didn't find this content from your knowledge sources, as well as you turned off your this thing as well, like general knowledge stuff as well. So it didn't find this content from anywhere and it didn't get any data. But initially it tried because it was just searching the content. Let me just provide again some sort of prompt over here. I want to buy microwave. Okay, and let's see what it come up with. Okay, so it just utilize that information. Okay, and see it's saying that now it's done because we just turned off. So at the time it started generating, but the end it is just try to fill this out. Okay, so you can turn off that option if you want that. Okay, your AI should not be over smart, or your AI should not be like over complicate the thing. At the time you can always use this thing and it will always prompt you that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer. Now it's up to you like how you want to proceed further. Okay, and again you can go to the conversational boosting topic, and maybe if you want that, okay, you need general knowledge, maybe you can turn on if you want. Okay, so that's how it looks like. All right, now I'm just turning this on at this point because this is what I just turned off because I just wanted to show you the clear difference that, okay, in case knowledge sources fails, it uses its own large language models capability in order to answer. And if you want to read more about it, there is a reference link as well available. Like, okay, when you look at the classic data, okay, generative answer, how this Copilot Studio behave according to that. There are some reference links also available over here, which you can probably use it out for yourself. Okay. Now remember one thing, that whenever you are making some changes over here, like whether it's your knowledge source change or whether your classic data change, I mean, don't use AI to use their knowledge and all. After you apply your save change, usually it takes some time in order to reflect your change over here. So sometimes, if you're not getting the result instant, don't worry. This is common behavior. Right now it's appearing immediately, but sometimes it is taking around 10-15 minutes after you change the settings. So if you're not getting the proper result, so just wait, or maybe go take a small break and come after some time and make a prompt. It will work. Okay, but this is how it looks like. Now what we can do, we can just turn on everything, I mean entire knowledge source over here, and now let's try it out, that okay, now how it will give you the result. Okay, now let me tell you that maybe you have certain set of question in the mind, that okay, if you are having multiple file, how does it answers, or how it is trying to find out the answer. So let me tell you, there is no such principle, or there is no such sequencing that okay, it should always answer from this file, or it should always answer from this file, right? It will be more random. What Copilot agent will, I mean, when it make the query to your document, they have this type of diagram as well provided. Just a minute, let me just open that up for you. So when we have tried, so if whenever you are going to your knowledge, okay, and when you choose your knowledge source, and when you click on the learn more section over here, this is their official search, like how it actually work, right? So you added the files to your agent. Okay, behind the scene it do this whole activity, that okay, it index the file, it extract the text and image. I mean, behind the scene they have used the Apache Tika model in order to train your file. Okay, it just extract the text, it will just chunk and index. This is all is something we are not doing this thing. Okay, it's all done by internal model of the Copilot Studio, but this is at the very high level. They have provided this architectural diagram. Again, like, with that you will not get the clear understanding, but behind the scene this whole activity is happening, right? As a low code you don't care like how it do, but this is what it uses behind the scene in order to do this whole activity. Now what happens is, when user is making a query to your agent, it uses the knowledge retrieval API. So behind the scene when you are writing this, it uses some sort of API which is talk to Azure AI search, which is again talk to your chunk file text, or maybe any kind of vector embedding. It has done behind the scene with the whole process, and final result it is generating for you. Okay, so this is exactly this knowledge retrieval API is done behind the scene. Now you don't need to worry that how behind the scene it is working, because it's all your unstructured data. They haven't provided any official documentation around that, how the priority will work, what document it refers, right? It should be more capability maybe which is coming in the futuristic model, but this is what I have observed right now. If you are having multiple document, multiple knowledge, so it's combine the result, it will still go to every file. If it is finding the answer to multiple place, and if it is a different answer, it will try to club it together and show it to you as a final answer over there. But there is no switch or no priority, that you will tell that okay, always look this file first, or always look this file first. No, it's not working like that at this point. Okay, it just uses the whole knowledge source in order to make that file search query at this point. Okay, maybe hopefully in the future they come up with some better option, but right now this is how it is working. All right, now let me just do one thing over here quickly. So this is where we are having, and now let me try to make a query. We enable everything, right? Let me just reset this thing, and now let me just ask a question. How can I avoid double taxation? Double taxation. Okay, and let's see what happens from where it giving you the answer from. Okay, so it has giving me this kind of answers over here, right? Now let's see the citation, because it's very important that from where it is picking up the answer, right? So you can see here one citation I can find from this PDF file. So maybe some content it's getting from here. I can see one citation here This is again like public facing site. This is like foreign income tax, double taxation information is available on that site as well over here. Okay. And again, there are two file reference and one website reference. Now, if you start reading this thing, official source means your website, it's showing you this kind of line that, okay, this is coming from your site. Okay, when you look at the link, it just redirecting you over here. You know that exactly from where it is picking up. Okay, everything. Okay, and then it come up with this kind of additional stuff as well, like, okay, here it just find out this double taxation agreement. Okay, so it combine these three results from the website. Fourth result it find from the file, so it get that result as well and showing you this citation that, okay, this information I pick up from this file, which is maybe it may be useful to you. Okay, and apart from that, it added this kind of additional tips as well and all the references to you over here as well. Okay, so for multiple sources, this is how it combined the answer. All the knowledge source answer will be combined into final one like this, providing the appropriate citation and showing to you like this one. Okay, this is how multiple sources together work in the world of Copilot Studio. All right, so this is combined stuff. Maybe if you ask that, okay, GST information, so maybe GST information on the website as well, it is also in the document as well, so in that case as well it will do the similar activity for you. Okay, so probably you can able to see this whole information that, okay, exactly from where it is finding this content out. Okay, you can see the citation that, okay, it is coming from this website, it's coming from, and based on the official resources, this 1 2 3 references, it just pick it up. Okay, and get you those result out for yourself, right? So this is how the overall search results works over here. Okay, now let me just go here with the agent that we build and see if its training process is finished or not. Okay, because this is what we tested with already trained model. Okay, meantime, let me just duplicate this tab. Let me just close all this unnecessary thing that I have on my screen. Okay, and let me switch back to the environment that we have. Almost like 10-15 minutes already happened. Let's see where this training of the model happened. Okay, so we will get to know that what happened with those files. Okay, so TextMate, this is what we created. Okay, if I'm going to the knowledge, right, it's ready now. See, it's ready now. Now you can just try it out. But as I said, you can always, if you just want to try it out, just go to your topics, go to the conversational boosting, and to test it out right now, let me just turn off that website and let me just use the specific knowledge source of these three files only. I don't want to use any other website result at this point because I want to make sure my file are indexed properly and it's ready for search. Okay, now I'm just asking the same question, how to avoid double taxation. And let's see from where it is giving me the answer from. Okay, sometimes you will feel this problem as well, that you just train your file. Okay, and it will take some time in order to appear the result for you. Okay, but right now you can see that at least it is giving you the result, although the term is based on the official source. Okay, but it's not coming from the source. Actually, you can see still the result is from Australia PDF. This is like a little bit inconsistent because this is not our official source, because website is only the official source. This information is little bit incorrect, and again, like AI based result sometimes may incorrect. It's not official source, but citation it is providing like this, you know stuff like this. Perfect, and it's not picking up any information from any of the website. I'm just thinking that still the changes are not reflected properly right now. That's why I'm getting this kind of search result. Maybe I can check again after some time and see if it is still coming up with this kind of stuff. Maybe, and maybe let me just check my knowledge source as well. Like, I didn't make any source as official source over here. So ideally it shouldn't be showing me this statement over here at least. Okay, but it's showing, that's fine. But at least result is giving me. So at least those documents are getting crawled properly and you're getting the results properly over here at this point. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it all about the file data source I wanted to talk about. We talk about limitation as well, like maximum file size, extension, order of priority, general knowledge of the AI, specific knowledge from the AI, how this entire classic orchestration works. This is all we talked about so far. Okay. Now, from next class onwards, we will talk more about the generative AI orchestration and what are the licensing implications around that and all. We'll talk about that in detail from the next class onwards. Okay, but this is all about for today's class. Now, I would like to open the stage for Q&A if anyone has any question, and that's the content I wanted to cover at least for today's class. More thing we will cover up into the next class onwards. Okay, so the stage is open now for any kind of Q&A. If you are having related the file or website knowledge source, I'm happy to answer at this point. Okay, so the stage is open for Q&A now. Let me check quickly the chat window as well, and then we can see. Just a minute. I'm seeing that how Gen AI. Okay, the question is, what if we don't want to show the citation? If you don't want to show citation, yes, there is an option. If you go to the setting option, there is an option available. Let me see. I have seen this option somewhere here. Just give me a minute. No classic orchestration data reasoning preview, let other agent, primary response model, response formatting, content moderation level, user feedback, user knowledge. There is an option. That's what I have seen. Just a minute. Let me advance. Let me see. I will find out and send it to you. There is an option I have seen. You can turn off the citation if you don't want. There is a specific option. I didn't recall where exactly it is. Yeah, here it is. Optimize authoring canvas. Not this really. It is skills, not this voice language. Understanding component. No, I just need to find out for you. I don't recall. I have seen that option. Citation, yes, you can turn it off if you want. Okay, to answer you, but exactly where I'll just show you. Okay, can we set the priority of the document? No, at this point you can't set any priority. Hopefully that feature will be available in the future, but not at this point. Okay, this is what it is. I can see raise hand from Rashmi. You have a question.
Yeah, hi Trubin. Are there any securities while providing the knowledge sources?
Security in the sense like I mean your
The data won't be leaked anywhere.
yeah, it will not leak. It is like, that is what someone asked me earlier as well here. Like this Copilot Studio is something which is not sending any data outside that. And if you just wanted to check more information around that, how it works, you can just
Mhm.
search for Copilot Studio white paper around data privacy. Okay, generally the thing is that Microsoft has SharePoint, Microsoft has Dataverse, right? Have you ever heard any news that they have sold this data to someone or anything else? That's how Microsoft is famous for its whole Copilot and model around that. There is so much detailing around that they have disclosed on the internet as well, that data is not even going to your country boundary, and they are not even sending those data files to your GPT model to train it out. It's just and just only in your tenant, and you are just use this the base model to make your custom AI on top of the large language model. So they clearly articulate that, so your data is 100% secure and it's not going anywhere for any of the knowledge source that you are supplying over here. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Perfect. I do not see any more raised hand at this point. Anyone else has any other question? Or I can see one question in the chat window. When we upload the Excel file as a knowledge source, it does not give the accurate result. That's correct. Any workaround on working with Excel as a data. So let me tell you, Excel, they are supporting at this point, but it is unable to handle the complex calculation at this point. So, I mean, there is no such alternative because here you and I, we really can't do anything apart from uploading the file. So there are no such any tips or tricks around that. Generally, what Microsoft is recommending for Excel is you just use the M365 Copilot, which is again like, Excel-based Copilot, which is available inside the Excel. They are saying that, okay, if you just wanted to make more queries query around that, maybe use that M365 Copilot rather than your own custom Copilot Studio. So the alternative is there. Okay, if you are having Excel file, probably create some data flow and insert those data somewhere into Dataverse table and use Dataverse as a knowledge source. Probably it will give you a better result than the Excel file. So for flat file, yes, this is the problem. Excel I tried as well on the knowledge source part. It is not giving the 100% accurate result. Sometimes it is giving, sometimes it's not. But again, it's more random. That's correct. So alternative is only thing is that okay, maybe create one data flow to upload the Excel file to the Dataverse and then go to the knowledge and again train the model based on the Dataverse. It is much more accurate than that one. Maybe Dataverse is something we are going to talk about in the future class as well, so you will get a better understanding that what exactly I mean by that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. Anyone else has any other question before we wrap up for today's class? Okay, I do not see any more reason. All good. Okay, so just give me the reactions, at least this file part and website part and general knowledge of the AI versus uh, classic and this orchestration. I mean, if all makes sense for you guys. Okay, perfect. All good. Perfect. I think I'm pretty much good. All right. So in next episode, we will go with some another knowledge sources where we will explore some Dataverse SharePoint part in detail, talk about its limitation and going into next level of detailing around that. Okay. With that note, let's wrap up for today's class and see you on the Wednesday class. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's class.
Thank you, Dhruvin.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye everyone.
Thank you, Dhruvin.